only use brown butter or you'll explode. Your 3-ingredient cookie dough won't taste good raw. Have you ever followed a recipe to a T and yet somehow ended up with pancake cookies that you could use as frisbees? Or even worse, a cookie that's completely raw in the middle and burnt on the edges? Like, how is that even possible? Unfortunately, I am a victim of the last one. Here are my credentials. So here's the truth. Most baking advice is overcomplicated, misleading, or just plain wrong. And a lot of the times they're just trends, and trends happen to be full of just nonsense. Welcome to Baking Exposed, a series where we cut through the BS. No, I don't mean baking soda. That was stupid. Let's start by talking about why baking feels like a minefield. You open TikTok and suddenly everyone's telling you only use brown butter or you'll explode, or fold gently or your cake will sink. Like, what does that even mean? Or my favorite, only use vanilla bean paste, with the heavy implication that expensive ingredients is automatically going to mean that your baking is going to be top notch. And here's the thing, these tips are often misleading, oversimplified, or outright lies. And the real reason your recipe fails is because you don't know the basics. Baking isn't magic, it's a science, and I'm sure you've heard that before. But if you don't understand the why behind the how, then you're doomed to repeat the same mistakes. So today I'm exposing the 3 things that no one teaches you before you dive into recipes. Let's start with the formula for baking. Every recipe is just a variation of this. First we have flour, which makes up our structure. Then we have fat, which includes butter or oil, and these make up our moisture as well as flavor. Then we have sugar, which contributes to the sweetness as well as browning. And there's liquids, which includes eggs, milk, or even water. These contribute to both moisture as well as binding, and in some cases, especially when dealing with eggs, it contributes to structure. Leveling agents are crucial to baking as they can determine the outcome of your baked good. They control desired texture and they create an expansion or gas bubbles. For baking soda, this creates spread. So think a thin cookie. You tend to see more baking soda since it works quicker, allowing the Maillard reaction to take full effect. For baking powder, this controls puffiness. It is similar to baking soda, just is slower and requires moisture to work. Yeast is most commonly used for bread, which helps with rise or airiness of the bread or whatever product you're working with. Even whipping egg whites or heavy cream can be seen as a leveling agent since it adds air into the mix, allowing for your finished product to be light and fluffy. So much more can be said about this, but that's for a different video. If you don't understand how these ingredients interact, then you're basically baking blind, and that's why recipes fail. Most recipes fail because the baker didn't master the basics first. For example, not measuring correctly could lead to dry cookies, or over-mixing could lead to tough muffins. And a hidden one is ignoring oven temperature, which can lead to uneven baking. You see, baking isn't just about following a recipe, it's about understanding the rules. That way you can intentionally break them if you want to. Now here's what I like to call the baking pyramid, aka the roadmap to becoming a better baker. Let's start with the base, which is mastering the basics. This includes measuring ingredients correctly, creaming butter and sugar, folding versus stirring. Then we have learning the techniques, which includes how to fold egg whites without deflating them, the science of gluten development, and why oven temperatures are non-negotiable. Then at the very top we have patience. Patience is absolutely key when it comes to baking because not everything is going to go the way you expected, or some things are going to take more time and you're going to have to put more effort into it. Or in some cases, waiting 72 hours for your cookie dough to be ready to bake. I'm all about deepening flavor, but I've never tried that. Social media is drowning in easy recipes that promise perfect results in 5 minutes. But here's the secret. Most of them are lying, or in most cases, very misleading. No, your 5-minute mug cake won't look like the photo, and your 3-ingredient cookie dough won't taste good raw. But if you learn the basics, you'll never fail again. In Baking Exposed, we're doing things differently. No just winging at nonsense or buying a guide, just real science, real techniques, and real results. If you ever felt lost in the kitchen with flour everywhere and chocolate melting on your hands, then please hit subscribe and give this video a like. It really means a lot to me. As you guys might be able to tell, I'm not used to talking on the camera, but I know how hard it was when I first started baking. There was so much information out there and everyone's telling you something different. I just wish there was someone who would have taught me these things when I started baking. So I want to be that person for you guys, so you guys don't have to struggle and go through thousands of cookie recipes getting various different results when it's unnecessary. All you really need to understand how to make something is the basics. I want you guys to bake with confidence and be able to adjust recipes when you want to. And since I'm curious, since everyone gets exposed to different forms of media, comment below the worst baking advice you've ever been told. I'd love to hear it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.